Oh, oh God. All right. So, welcome everyone. Today, if you actually read the title, we will be reading the Railway series, and I have the big book right here. We're gonna get to reading because we like reading, don't we? I know our generation likes reading. So, this is the Bible that goes from, of course, book to 126. So I'll let you guys choose the story that I read because I like all of them. Yeah, I pretty much like all of them. So I'll let you guys choose the story that I read today. Well, I'm reading a few, so. You know what? Because I don't want to be lonely. There. Yay. Okay. So, like I said, books 1 to 26. So all the books. All the books. And it's about to be 1 hour until Christmas is over. So I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. So let's just we're gonna wait until we get a story, basically. Because we love story time. We all love story time now, don't we? It's story time with your favorite person. So links right here, and yeah, all that shit. So yeah. You know what? I might as well choose a story out for myself. I'll choose a good story. So gotta get to reading that railway series. So um, yeah, we'll get to reading. Anywho, um, hold on. So I got everything ready. Right, let's begin the story. Um, Domeless engines. A special train arrived one day, and the factory controllers welcomed the passengers. They looked at everything in the yard and photographed the engines. Duck's driver let some of them ride in his cab. They're the Railway Society, his driver explained. They've come to see us. Their engines say a churro. They've come to see us. Their engine say a churro was the first to go 100 miles per hour. Miles an hour. Ugh. This isn't going to be perfect reading. Let's get finished, then we can go and talk to him. Oh, said Duck. Said Duck. Said Duck odd. He's too famous to notice me. Rubbish, smiled his driver. Come on. Duck found City of Churro at the calling stage. May I talk to you? He asked shyly. Of course, smiled the famous engine. I see you're one of us. I try to teach him our ways, said Duck modestly. Wait, damn. Who says this? I'm just gonna guess Duck says this. All ship shape and swim in fashion, that's right. Please, could you tell me about how you beat the Southwestern? Sir Churro told Duck all about his famous runs at Plymouth from Plymouth to Bristol more than 50 years ago. They were soon firm friends and talked Great Western until the late night. City of Churro left early next morning. Good riddance, grumbled Gordon, chattering all night, keeping us important engines awake. Who is he, anyways? He's City of Churro. He's famous. As famous as me? Nonsense. He's famouser than you. He went 100 miles an hour before you were even drawn or thought of. So he says, but I didn't like his looks. He's got no dome, said Gordon darkly. Never trust domeless engines. They're not respectable. I never boast, said Gordon continued modestly. But 100 miles an hour would be easy for me. Goodbye. Presently, Duck took some trucks to Edward Station. He was cross, and it was lucky those trucks that they. It was lucky for those trucks that they had no trick. That they tried no tricks. Hello, Edward. Hello, called Edward. That famous city of Truro came through this morning. He whistled at me. Wasn't he kind? He's the finest engine in the world, said Duck, and he told Edward all about City of Truro and what Gordon had said. Don't take any notice. He's Duh, don't take any notice, sued Edward. He's just jealous. He thinks no engine should be famous but him. Look, he's coming now. Gordon's boiler seemed to have swung larger than ever. He was running fast. He swayed up and down, from side to side. His wheels pounded the rails. He did it, I'll do it. 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 He panted. His train rocketed past and was gone. Edward chuckled and winked at Duck. Gordon's trying to do a city churro, he said. Duck was still cross. I should think he'll knock himself to bits, he snorted. I heard something rattle as he went through. Gordon's driver eased him. Steady, boy, he said. We're not running a race. We are, then, said Gordon, but he said it to himself. I'll never know him ride so rough before, remarked his driver. His fireman grabbed the brake handle to steady himself. He's given himself a hammering. No mistake. Soon Gordon began to feel a little queer. The top of his boiler seems funny. Oh, shit. The top of my boiler seems funny, he thought. It's just as if something was loose. I'd better go slower. But by then, it was too late. They met a wind on the viaduct. It was a gentle wind. Nor it was a hard, steady wind. It wasn't a gentle wind, nor was a hard, steady wind. It was a teasing wind which blew suddenly in a hard puff and caught you unawares. Gordon thought it wanted to push him off the bridge. No, you don't, he said firmly. But the wind had other ideas. It curled around his boiler and crept under his loose dome. And it lifted off and away in the valley below. It fell on some rocks with a clang. Gordon was most uncomfortable. He felt cold. He felt cold where his dome wasn't, and besides, people laughed. People laughed at him as he passed. At the big station, he tried to wheesh them away, but they crowded around him no matter what he did. On his way back, he wanted his driver to stop and find his dome, and was cross when he wouldn't. He hoped the shed would be empty, but all the engines were there waiting. Never trust domeless engines, said a voice. They aren't respectable. And that was, of course, domeless engines. Now that I think about it, how many stories do I plan to read? How many stories? I'll read about 6 more stories. 6 more stories, and then the stream will be over. Because it's not intended to be a long stream, but it just is what it is. Alright, let me choose another story. Because while that was a good story, no, fuck it. I'm gonna read Bad Lookout. Alright. Alright, here's the second Rooster story. Okay. Ain't that the truth? Bad Lookouts. Reneus and Scarloy were talking quietly to Carl D next morning when Duncan stormed up, followed by Sahandel. Hello, chuckled Renes. Here we go. Merry Christmas. I nearly came off, fumed Duncan. Those coaches pushed me. The thing controller says they didn't. He just says I kept a bad lookout. We've no money to repair you, to mend you, he says. If it happens again, I'll send you to the back of the sheds. I'll leave you at the back of the sheds. Why does he always pick on me? That's not fair. Scarlowy said nothing. He just winked at Reneus. Like this. As you were saying, Caldy, remarked Reneus, you had 2 coaches on your trial trip. Did you ever take more? No, our line's so steep we're only allowed 1. We each have our own coach. Mine's called Catherine. I know her well. That's most important. Why? Why? Asked Randall. They're only coaches. Ours, said Caldy, are something more. You pull your coaches, and you can see ahead. We push our coaches, so we can't see. They watch the line for us. The guard watches too, and of course. But Catherine's so clever that I know once if there's anything wrong. That's a mistake. Lord of and team. My fireman and I have a tired time. Coming downhill, he went on. It's different. Catherine and I just roll. We need no steam for that. Sir Handel sighed enviously. I should like that, he said. With your automatic brakes, it sounds like a rest cure. That, replied Colby, was just the same mistake poor Godric made. Who, asked the little Indians, is Godric? Godric was our number 1, and named after the king. Was named after a king, Colby replied. Perhaps this went to his smoke box and made him conceited. He never liked to keep a good lookout. He rolled down the line like anywhere and looked. He rolled down the line looking anywhere but the track. You'll have an accident, I told him. Pooh, he said. I've got automatic brakes, haven't I? And drive as good as a brake. What more do you want? More sense from you, I said. No one can stop at once if he isn't ready to obey his driver's controls. The first thing a young engine learns, agreed Scarlowy. Godric never learned sense. His driver, fireman, and manager all spoke to him. They even took him to pieces to see if anything was wrong, but still went on. But he still went on the same old way. One day I was going up and waiting at a station for Godric coming down to pass me. I waited. As I waited, so it happened. One moment he was on the track. One moment he was going to ignore. Yes, this is the complete Railway Series collection. One moment he was on the track, the next his driver and fireman jumped clear as he rolled over. No one was hurt, and the guard braked her to a stop. No one was hurt. His coach stayed on the rails, and the guard braked her to a stop. Braked her to a stop. They brought Godric home next day. We've no money to repair you, said our manager, so you'll go to the shed. As time went on, poor Godric got smaller and smaller till nothing was left. What happened? Asked Duncan anxiously. It's not nice to talk about, said Coldy. But what happened? Why isn't it nice? Our drivers use Godred's parts to mend us, answered Coldy mournfully. Sir Handel and Duncan were usually silent after long after Coldy had gone home. Neither Scarlet nor Rhaenyra ever mentioned that Coldy had made the story up. Ah, well, that story was fun. Ooh, ooh, I feel stiff. Alright, I'm gonna need another banger story. You know what? I have another banger story for us. Alright. Mavis. Mavis is a diesel engine belonging to the Farquhar Quarry Company. They bought her to shunt trucks in their sidings. She is black and has six wheels. These are like Toby's. These, like Toby's, are hidden by side plates. Mavis is young and full of her own ideas. She is sure that she is sure they are better than anyone. She is sure they're better. Oh God. She is sure they are better than. She is sure they are better than anybody else's. She loves rearranging things and put Toby's trucks in different places every day. This made Toby cross. Trucks, he grumbled, shall be where you want them, when you want them. Fudge, fudge, said Mavis, and flounced away. At last, Toby lost patience. We can't waste time playing hunt trucks with you, he snapped. Take 'em yourself. Take 'em yourself. Mavis was delighted. Taking trucks made her feel important. At Farquhar, she met Daisy. Toby's in those fusspot, she complained. Davy, Daisy liked Toby, but was glad a diesel to talk to. Steam engines, she said, have their uses, but they don't understand. Toby says only steam engines can manage trucks properly. What rubbish. Put put in Daisy, who knew nothing about trucks. Depend upon it, my dear. Anything steam engines can do, we diesels can do better. Toby's line crosses the main road behind Farquhar Station, and for a short way follows a farm lane. The rails here are buried in the earth and ashes almost to the top in wet weather. Animals, carts, and tractors make the lane muddy and slippery. Fro- ugh. Frost makes the mud rock hard. It swells it too, preventing engines' wheels from gripping the rails properly. Toby found this place troublesome, so when Frost came, he warned Mavis and told her just what to do. I can manage, thank you, she said cheekily. I'm not an old fusspot like you. The trucks were being tired of pushed around by Mavis. It's slippery, they whispered. Let's push her around instead. On, they yelled. As Mavis reached the stop board. But Mavis had heard about Percy and took no chances. She brought them carefully down the lane and stopped at the level crossing. There, the second man halted the traffic while the guard unpinned the wagon brakes. One of the one in the headlamp froze for Fusspot Toby, she chortled. She looked forward to having a good giggle about it with Daisy, but she never got her giggle. She was so sure that she was right that she had stopped in the wrong place. The frost weather the frosty weather, Toby stops before reaching the lane, while some of the trucks are still on the slope. This ensures that they can't hold them back. And their weight helps him forward till his wheels can grip again. But Mavis had given the trucks the chance they wanted. Hold back! Hold back! They giggled. But Mavis had given the truck. Oh, girl! She ordered Mavis. The trucks just laughed, and her wheels spun helplessly. She tried backing, but the same thing happened. They sanded the rails and tried to dig away the frozen mud, but only broke the spade. Cars and lorries tooted impatiently. Grrr! Wailed Mavis in helpless fury. I warned her, fumed Toby. I told her just where to stop. I can manage, she said, and called me an old fusspot. She's young yet, soothed his driver, and she can manage trucks by herself. She can manage and she can manage trucks herself. They're your trucks, really, his driver pointed out. Mavis isn't supposed to come down here. If the fat controller... You wouldn't tell him, would you? Of course not. Well then, but his driver went on. If we don't help clear the line, he'll soon know about it, and we and and so shall we? Yes, said Toby thoughtfully. An angry farmer was telling Mavis just what she could do with her train. Toby buffered up. Having trouble, Mavis? Boy, I'm surprised. Grrr, said Mavis, with much puffing and wheel slip. Toby pushed the trucks back, and Mavis hardly helped at all. The hard work made Toby's fire burn fiercely. He then reversed, stopping at the interval, while his firemen spread hot cinders to melt the frozen mud. Good boy, he called as he reached the crossing. You'll manage now, I expect. Mavis didn't answer. She took her truck to his shed and scuttled home as quick as she could. That was another story. That's 3 stories. 3 W stories. Okay. No, let's read one that has Dalby in it. You know what? Let's actually go over that real quick before we start anything. Because I didn't even tell anyone what I got. Now, I only got a few little things like this. They ain't that big of a deal. But, Right, so what did I get for this list? Well, I got a few things actually. Not that many. So I got. Oh yeah, and this too. Let me get this out. So what I got was another Henry. I'll see what use I can do for that. A take along Fergus. A Playro Rosie with the complete set. A Playro Bell. And a Close Shaver Duck. Oh yeah, and this track back here. So that'll be used for like Edward's branch line and shit. And I was surprised. Like when Fergus can fit on this track. I'm so happy. Oh yeah, Bell with moving side rods. Turn on. Like I'm surprised Fergus can fit on this track. You know, I want to be fair to the illustrator, so I'll let you guys choose a story that has a. Yeah. I hate them as much as the next person does. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys choose a story that has Dalby illustrations. So basically, a book for numbers 1 through 6. Just choose a random story that's from that's in the books 1 through 11. I meant a random story, and I'll just read it that one. You know, the first story I see, that's the one I'll read. That's Dalby, of course. Oh yeah, I also got this take and play card with take along card with Fergus. I fucking love this card. So glad I got it. Let's see who the first one's gonna be. Who's gonna request a story? Because what I want to see is a really good story. All I want to see is a good story. I guess I'll have to choose a story myself. Alright, I'll choose a good Dolby story actually, because you know that's what I want to see. Ah yes, the most overplayed Dolby story in existence. Man, this is totally not the most overplayed Dolby story. Alright. Thomas and Gordon. Thomas was a tank engine who lived at a big station. He had 6 small wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy boiler, and a short stumpy dome. He was a fussy little engine, always pulling coaches about. He pulled them to the station, ready for the big engines to take out on long journeys. When trains came in and the people got out, he would pull the empty coaches away so the big engines could go and rest. He was he was a cheeky little engine too. He thought no engine could work as hard as he did, so he used to play tricks on them He liked best of all to come up quietly beside a big engine dozing in the siding and make him jump. Beep 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 beep. Wake up, late. Wake up, lazy bones, he would whistle. Why don't you work hard like me? Then he would laugh rudely and run away to find some more coaches. One day, Gordon was resting on the siding. He was very tired. The big express he always pulled had been late, and he had to run as fast as he could to make up for lost time. He was just going to sleep when Thomas came up in his cheeky way. Wake up, lazy bones, he whistled. Do some hard work for a change. You can't catch me. And off he ran laughing. Instead of going to sleep again, Gordon thought how he could pay Thomas out. One morning, Thomas wouldn't wake up. His driver fireman couldn't make him start. His fire went out and there was not enough steam. It was nearly time for the express. People were waiting, but the coaches weren't ready. At last, Thomas started. Oh dear, he yawned. Come on, said the coaches. Hurry up! Thomas gave them a rude bump and started for the station. Don't stop dawdling, he grumbled. Where have you been? The coaches asked the coaches crossly. Thomas fussed to the station where Gordon was waiting. Poop, poop, poop. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up, you, he said crossly. Pip, pip, peep. Hurry up yourself, he said cheekily. Yes, said Gordon. I will. And honestly, for the coaches to stop moving, Gordon came out of his siding and was coupled to the train. Pooh pooh, he whistled. Get in quickly, please. So the people got in quickly. The signal went down. The clock struck the hour. The guard waved his green flag, and Gordon was ready to start. Thomas usually pushed behind the big trains to help them start, but he was always uncoupled first, so that when the train was running nicely, he could stop and go back. This time he was late, and Gordon had started so quickly that they had forgot to uncouple Thomas. Poop, poop, said Gordon. Peep, peep, whistled Thomas. Come on, puffed Gordon. Those to the coaches. Pull harder, puffed Thomas to Gordon. The heavy train slowly began to move out the station. The train went faster and faster. Too fast for Thomas. He wanted to stop, but he couldn't. Beep, 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 beep. Stop, he whistled. Hurry, laughed Gordon in front. You can't get away, laughed the coaches. Poor Thomas was going faster than he had ever gone before. He was out of breath, and his wheels hurt him, but he had to go on. I shall never be the same again, he thought sadly. My wheels will be quite worn out. At last, they stopped at a station. Everyone laughed to see Thomas puffing and panting behind. They uncoupled him, put him on the turntable, and then ran it onto a siding out of the way. Well, little Thomas, chuckled Gordon as he passed. Now you know what hard work means, don't you? Poor Thomas couldn't answer. He had no breath. He just puffed slowly away to rest and had a long drink. He went home very slowly and was careful afterwards never to be cheeky to Gordon again. Well, and that was another story. So I read so far. What the fuck did I just read? I just read. I read Domeless Engines, Bad Lookout. What else did I read? I just read Mavis. Just read Thomas Green. So 2 more stories, I guess. That's a Dolby story done. All right. Here's the next story. All right. All right. Bertie's chase. Peep, 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 peep. We're late, fussed Edward. Peep, 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 peep. Where is Thomas? He doesn't usually make us wait. Oh dear, what could the matter be? Sang the fireman. Johnny is so long that. Never you mind about Johnny, laughed the driver. Just climb on the cab and look for Thomas. And look for Thomas. Can you see him? No. The guard looked at his watch. 10 minutes late, he said to the driver. We can't wait here all day. Look again, look again, Sid, said the driver, just in case. The fireman got to his feet. Can you see him? No, he answered. There's Bertie in a tearing hurry. No need to bother with him. Though likely he's on coach tour or something. He clambered down. Right away, Charlie, said the guard, and Edward puffed off. Toot, 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 toot. Stop, stop, wailed Bertie, roaring into the yard. But it was no good. Edward's last coach had disappeared into a tunnel. Roger, said Bertie. Bonner Thomas's driver not coming to work today. Well, why did I promise to help the passengers catch the train? That'll do, Bertie, says the driver. A promise is a promise, and we must keep it. Yo, Papa. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I'll catch Edward a bus, Bertie said Bertie grimly as he raced along the road. Oh my gosh, and actually he groaned, toiling up the hill. I'll never be the same bus again. Toot, 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 toot. I see him. Hurry, hurry, he cheered as he reached the top of a hill. He He's reached the station, groaned Bertie. The next minute. No, he stopped by a signal. Hurrah! Hurrah! And he tore down the hill, his brakes squealing at the corners. His passengers bounced like balls in a bucket. Well done, Bertie, they shouted. Go on! Hens and dogs scattered in all directions as he raced through the village. Wait! Wait! He tooted, skidding into the yard. He was just in time to see the signal drop and the guard wave his green flag, and Edward puffed out of the station. The passengers rushed to the platform, but it was no good. They all came back. I'm sorry, said Bertie unhappily. Never mind, Bertie, they said. After him, quickly. Third time lucky, you know. Do you think we'll catch him at the next station, driver? There's a good chance, he answered. Our road keeps close to the line. It'll climb hills better than Edward. And we can climb hills better than Edward. He thought for a minute. I'll just make sure. Then he spoke to the station master while the passengers waited impatiently in the bus. This hill is too steep. This hill is too steep, grumbled the coaches as Edward snorted in front. They reached the top at last and ran smoothly into the next station. Pip peep, whistled Edward. Get in quickly, please. The porters and people hurried, and Edward impatiently waited to start. Pip peep, whistled the guard. Peep, whistled the guard, and Edward's driver looked back, but the flag didn't wave. There was a distance, toot toot toot, and the station master, running across, snatched the green flag out of the guard's hand. and then everything seemed to happen at once. Toot, 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 bellowed Birdie. His passengers poured out onto the platform and scrambled into the train. The station master told the guard and driver what happened, and Edward listened. "I'm sorry about the chase, Bertie," he said. "Ma, Frosh," panted Birdie. "Let's at junction. You didn't know about Thomas's passengers? Pete, goodbye, Bertie. We're off," whistled Edward. "Three cheers for Birdie," called the passengers. They cheered and waved till they were out of sight. And that, my boys, is Birdie's Chase. That's a fulfilling story, all right. Well, we're down to the last story of the stream. And I have a feeling we want to make this one a good one. So we're going to use a Kenny book. Alright. I say this. He just had a book. Yeah, I'm about to say he never got a book. Oh, you get the point. Thomas. Oh, shit. I mean, I might check that out. I mean, what? Huh? What? Huh? Okay, I need to stop. All right. Thomas comes to breakfast. Thomas the Tank Engine has worked on his branch line for many years. "You know just where to stop, Thomas," laughed his driver. "You could almost manage without me." Thomas had become quite conceited. He didn't realize his driver was just joking. "Driver said I don't need him anymore," he told the others. Don't be so daft," snorted Percy. "I'd never go without my driver," said Toby earnestly. "I'd be frightened." "Pooh!" boasted Thomas. "I'm not scared. You never dare." "I would then. You'll see." It was dark next morning when the firelighter came. Thomas drowsed comfortably as the warmth spread through his boiler. He woke up again in daylight. Percy and Toby were still asleep. Suddenly, Thomas remembered. "Silly stick in the muds," he chuckled. "I'll show them. Driver hasn't come yet, so here it goes." He cautiously tried first piston, first one piston, and then the other. They're moving, he whispered. "I'll just go out, then I'll stop and whoosh! That'll make them jump." Very, very quietly, he headed for the door. Thomas thought he was being clever, but really, he was only moving because a careless cleaner had meddled with his controls. He soon found his mistake. He tried to whoosh, but he couldn't. He tried to stop, but he couldn't. He just kept rolling along. The buffers will stop me," he thought hopefully. But the side had no buffers. It just ended at the road. Thomas's wheels left the rails and crumbled the tarmac. "Horrors!" he exclaimed and shut his eyes. He didn't dare look at what was coming next. The station master's family was having breakfast. They were eating eggs. They were eating ham and eggs. There was a crash. The house rocked. Broken glass tinkled. Plaster peppered their plates. Thomas had collected a bush on his travels. He peered anxiously into the room through its leaves. He couldn't speak. The station master grimly strode on and shut off steam. His wife picked up her plate. "You miserable engine!" she scolded. "Just look what you've done to our breakfast. Now I shall have to cook some more." She banged the door. More plaster fell. This time it fell on Thomas. Thomas felt depressed. The plaster was tickly. He he wanted to sneeze, but he didn't dare in case the house fell on top of him. Nobody came for a long time. Everyone was much too busy. At last, workmen propped up their houses with strong poles and laid rails through the garden. And Donald and Douglas, puffing hard, managed to haul Thomas back to the yard. His funnel was bent. Bits of fencing, the bush, and a broken window frame festooned his front, which was badly twisted. He looked comic. The twins laughed and left him. He was in disgrace. "You are a very naughty engine." "I know, sir. I'm sorry, sir." Oh, my bad. "I know, sir. I'm sorry, sir." Thomas's voice was muffled behind his bush. "You must go to the works, and you'll have your French end mended. It will be a long job." "Yes, sir," faltered Thomas. "Meanwhile," said the fat controller, "a diesel rail car will do your work." Spluttered Thomas. "Yes, Thomas. Diesels always stay in their sheds till they are wanted. Diesels never gallivant off to breakfast in station masters' houses." The fat controller turned on his heel and sternly walked away. Damn, Thomas is in a lot of trouble, I'll tell you that for sure. And that was the 6 stories of the Railway series. Yep, it was a blast reading these, honestly. I'm so glad I was able to look back at some stories, I just remember a few things. There probably will be another stream like this. Who knows? But yeah, see, if I don't see it all, if I don't make one last video in these next 5 days or 6, I'll see you all in 2023. All right, bye.